Long ago, most people didn't have a boss. They were the boss. Farmers, blacksmiths, shopkeepers. They decided what to build, when to work, and how to sell it. Life was messy, unpredictable, and sometimes brutal, but at least you weren't filling endless forms or asking someone for permission just to go to the dentist. Fast forward a few centuries. The thought of not having a paycheck terrifies most of us. We build resumes like they're Hogwarts acceptance letters, spend hours networking, and celebrate job offers like we've won a lottery, all to get permission to earn money we already need to survive. Robert Kiyosaki, in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, calls this the great inversion, trading ownership of your labor for the illusion of safety. Adam Smith, in The Wealth of Nations, observing early industrial economies, might have shrugged and said, well, at least they're getting paid. Napoleon Hill, in Think and Grow Rich, would likely roll his eyes. We've let fear dictate our lives, and we cheered while signing the contract. So here's the question we'll explore today. Did we make this trade willingly, or were we subtly convinced it was the responsible choice? Before industrialization, if you wanted food, shoes, or shelter, you made them or traded for them. Every day was an exercise in creativity, problem-solving, and occasionally sheer luck. Adam Smith, in The Wealth of Nations, described this as natural liberty, individuals pursuing their interests, producing value, and exchanging it with others. A carpenter wasn't just making chairs. They were running a small business, learning marketing, negotiation, and customer service without ever hearing the word synergy. Contrast that with today. Our ancestors built barns, shoes, and businesses. We build spreadsheets, reports, and presentations, and hope someone notices. Humorously put, we've gone from forging our own destiny to hoping someone gives us a gold star for completing an email correctly. Imagine a medieval baker. Each day, they decide how much bread to bake, who to sell it to, and how to deal with a sudden flour shortage. No one tells them when to start. No one dictates how many loaves to produce. Every decision affects survival. Fast forward 200 years, and someone is deciding for you how many emails you should send before lunch. Not quite the same thrill. Even Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, would nod and think. Humans used to take responsibility for their lives. Now they take responsibility for answering emails on time. Then came the Industrial Revolution. Factories needed workers, not craftsmen. Specialization made sense, but it also made people replaceable. Your skill no longer defined your worth. Your attendance did. Peter Drucker, in The Practice of Management, observed that organizations promised predictability in exchange for loyalty, and people gladly signed up. Regular wages, pensions, and benefits felt like safety until they weren't. Suddenly, life became measured in shifts, punch clocks, and quotas. Napoleon Hill, in Think and Grow Rich, might call this fear disguised as prudence. And indeed, society collectively agreed. Better a guaranteed paycheck than the chance to create real wealth. Ironically, this security created dependency. You were safe until automation, downsizing, or corporate whims decided otherwise. Humorously put, the Industrial Revolution was the beginning of trading I own my life for I own a cubicle and hope it doesn't collapse. Even Adam Smith would probably sigh. Progress, yes, freedom, not so much. Why do people buy into this? Fear, habit, and culture. Fear of failure. Fear of criticism. Fear of an empty bank account. Stephen Covey, in The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, calls living reactively, letting circumstances control your life. Most people never notice it. They just settle into routines, thinking stability equals success. Robert Kiyosaki, in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, warns, security is comforting until it isn't. The golden handcuffs may feel nice, but they're still handcuffs. Humorously, it's like agreeing to a life sentence because someone promised free coffee, a steady paycheck, and casual Fridays. Behavioral science backs this up. Humans are wired to avoid loss more than they seek gain. The predictable paycheck is psychologically comforting, even if it comes at the expense of creativity, autonomy, and long-term wealth. Even Daniel Pink, in Drive, notes that autonomy, mastery, and purpose, the real drivers of motivation, are rarely offered by a secure job. Instead, you get predictable tasks and a performance review every 6 months. And yet, millions happily line up for it. Because humans, apparently, prefer comfort over adventure, at least until midlife crisis sets in. On the surface, a steady job feels like the ultimate deal. Money every 2 weeks, health benefits, maybe even a retirement plan if you're lucky. Your income has a ceiling. Your time belongs to someone else. And your biggest ideas? They usually get shut down with, "That's not how we do things here." You give decades of energy to building someone else's dream while your own sits in the back seat. Think about it. You put in your best hours, your best skills, your best focus, and in exchange, you get enough money to cover bills and maybe a little extra. Meanwhile, the company pockets the bigger win. It's not that jobs are evil. It's just that they often trade your potential for predictability. And that trade adds up. Here's the plot twist. The world has changed. Technology, the internet, remote work, they've made it easier than ever to create your own income streams. Whether it's freelancing, starting a small business, selling online, or even just building a side hustle, doors are wide open in ways they weren't for past generations. Of course, let's not sugarcoat it. Entrepreneurship is tough. You don't get a guaranteed paycheck. Some days feel like you're juggling flaming swords blindfolded. But the payoff? Control. You get to decide what projects matter. You set your own hours. You choose how far to take it. And even if you stumble, at least it's your stumble. You learn, you grow, and you adjust. Compare that to being laid off after years of loyalty. That's someone else deciding when your time is up. The new economy is proof. Freedom is possible, but it comes with risk and responsibility. The real difference between paycheck living and freedom living isn't just money, it's mindset. Most people chase stability because it feels safe. But safe is changing. Companies downsize. Industries vanish. Technology replaces jobs. What felt secure a decade ago doesn't always last a day. So the shift is this. Instead of asking, "What's the safest option?" start asking, "What gives me more control over my future?" Freedom doesn't mean quitting your job tomorrow. It means thinking differently, building skills that travel with you, exploring side hustles, creating backups for yourself. Yes, it's scarier, but it's also more rewarding. Because in the end, freedom isn't about wealth, it's about having choices. So, was trading freedom for a paycheck worth it? For many, the paycheck brings stability, and there's nothing wrong with that. Bills need paying. Families need supporting. A steady job can provide that peace of mind. But here's the truth. Job security is never as secure as it sounds. Layoffs happen. Promotions stall. Retirement plans shrink. On the other side, freedom, through entrepreneurship, side hustles, or new career paths, brings risk, yes, but it also brings ownership. Ownership of your time, your effort, your direction. At the end of the day, both paths cost something. Stability costs freedom. Freedom costs stability. The question is simple. Which cost are you willing to pay? Hey guys, thanks for watching Glow App. Remember to like and subscribe because every corner of the globe has a story worth telling. Until next time, keep your curiosity in motion.